Yesterday I made a video covering judgment, and one of the benchmarks I had for someone's good judgment was the ability to avoid punishment. A lot of people clapped back and said that's white, normative, egocentric, privileged speaking. You only think people employ good judgment if they agree with you and you don't punish them. It's not really what I mean. I don't mean avoiding punishment with the notion that the law is the gold standard of morality and all things good, and therefore anyone found guilty in the eyes of the law must be a steward of bad judgment. The law itself is ultimately flawed, riddled with racist histories and nuance, and those that enforce the law are not perfect specimens of judgment. What I mean is, does your reasoning incur more negative consequences for you? So I want to go through a nuanced example now. So recall how we were talking about how judgment is your ability to navigate uncertainty. So you have an uncertain situation, you have any different avenue of options that you can take. And each of these options has a certain risk and benefit associated with it. Remember, the risk is never zero and the benefit is never 100%. Let's say I want to go to a Vegas pool party and I'm confronted with an option. I can wear sunscreen or not wear sunscreen. On one hand, the risks or downsides of wearing sunscreen are it doesn't feel good on my skin. It's expensive. I don't feel as cool when I wear it. But on the other side, it prevents skin cancer. It will prevent me from being sunburnt, which will hurt the next day. So I do my risk-benefit analysis and I determined the feeling on my skin and the expense of it is not worth the benefits I would get from it. So I don't wear sunscreen. So see how I had these different options of how to approach the sun, and I landed on not wearing sunscreen because I weighed the risks against the benefits. But then something else happens. I get a terrible sunburn and now my skin's blistering. In a sense, the sun punished me for being unable to employ reasoning in a way to not incur a sunburn. Therefore, one could consider my judgment poor because based on my risk-benefit analysis, I actually incurred more negative consequences. Now I can apply insight to understanding this problem. Why did I get sunburned? Well, level 0 insider denial could be, I'm not sunburned, I'm fine, my skin feels great. Or I could externalize and blame it on the sun. I'm just sunburned because of the stupid sun and its stupid rays and dumb UVB radiation, what the heck, man. As I progress in insight, I can acknowledge that the sun rays are harmful, and also I chose not to wear sunscreen and incurred the consequences of that. I had a role to play in this issue, and mine was not wearing sunscreen, even though I'm not responsible for the harmful sun rays. What if I decide to stay inside and not go to the party? I would avoid getting sunburned, I wouldn't have to wear sunscreen, so I can avoid those negative consequences, but also I wanted to go to this party and instead I lost out on it by staying inside. But what if I take on a different strategy? I decide to don this wonderful sun outfit, which protects me from the sun and also allows me to go out in the pool. But I don't have to wear gross sunscreen and spend more money on it. So you see in the scenario of how do I navigate going to the party, I have different options. I have just bareback it, don't wear sunscreen. I have not go to the party. I have wear sunscreen and go to the party, or I have wear this fun sun hat. And each of them has a different output. Some of them actively bring on negative consequences. Some have no negative consequences, but no real positive benefits. And the Sun Outfit 10,000 has 0 negative consequences and all benefits, including it's dripped out, and you get to go to the party like you wanted to. Therefore, donning this outfit would be an example of good judgment. What if I had no idea that the sun could cause sun damage? It would be pretty hard to factor that into my decision making when I'm picking whether or not to wear sunscreen to this party. So if I had no idea the sun was dangerous, I wouldn't have any insight into the dangers of the sun or no appreciation of it, which makes it hard to employ good judgment. So judgment is your ability to weigh the scale, but insight is what blocks do I even have that I'm working with, and how much do these blocks weigh? That's why I mentioned appreciation in insight before. If I acknowledge that something exists, but I can't appreciate how significant or how much that block weighs, it's really hard to measure it properly and therefore hard to make rational decisions with it. And this is really important to understand because when you're assessing someone's ability to make a complicated medical decision, you have to assess for something called capacity, which is someone's ability to use their insight to apply reasoning and make a judgment about their own medical safety. But this gets complicated because sometimes your ability to reason can be influenced by the illness itself. Therefore, psychiatry gets called to assess for capacity, which we'll cover in the next video.